Auspicious greetings, everyone. Welcome back to our History of Indian Buddhism. We already completed 7 classes, and today will be the 8th class. Last class, we already start with the discussions of the Madhyamika school, and in this class, we'll focus on the teachings in the Madhyamika school. As according to Nagarjuna, whatever is dependent arising, we declare that to be emptiness. That is dependent destination and is itself the middle way. So what Nagarjuna is trying to say is that whatever things that is depends on each other in order to exist, those things are considered the emptiness because it did not arise by itself. It needs other things to combine together in order to be existent. So this is something that in the Madhyamika school, it emphasizes a lot about the true nature of everything, depending on each other. And because of this depending on each other, that's why it is a middle way. So what are the philosophy, the basic philosophy in Madhyamika school? There are a lot of detailed teachings in the Madhyamika school. I won't be able to introduce all in just 50 minutes. So I just pick out 4 important teachings and also a brief introductions of these teachings to all of you. So in this class, we'll talk about the 2 truths, the nature of ultimate reality, the middle way, and the last one will be the emptiness. So let's start our journey to explore the philosophy in Madhyamika school. The 2 truths. Madhyamika determines 2 levels of truth. Conventional truth, everyday common sense reality, and ultimate truth, emptiness. Madhyamika argue that all phenomena are empty of sabhava and only exist in dependence on other causes, conditions, and concepts. Madhyamikas argue reality does not really exist as the highest truth realized by wisdom, which is Paramatha, Satya. Paramatha is literally supreme or ultimate, and Atha means object, purpose, or actuality. And yet it has a kind of conventional reality and what has its uses for reaching liberation. So when you look at this picture, we have a physical baby here, and we also have a baby image over here. So which one is the real baby? The physical baby or the image baby? Which one? So what is conventional truth? Conventional truth basically are those of the things that we see, we can feel, can touch, hear, we can smell. So these are the things that we interact every day, or the people that we interact every day. However, all these things and people will change. It will change. So when it change, which one is the real one? And in Madhyamika school, they define that in our world here is called a conventional truth. So we did not deny the conventional truth. We still have to eat, we still have to drink. But the ultimate truth is that we are changing. We are changing. We're changing from a baby to a kid, to a youth, to a young adult, middle age, old age, and then death. So this is the ultimate truth. So when this is a baby, we can't say that this is an old person. When this person is an old person, we can't say that this person is a baby. This is the common sense in our phenomenal world. But when we get deeper in, everything change. Even the name of this thing or people. So that's the reason why Nagarjuna is reality. We still need venture in order to see the ultimate truth and reach to the shore of liberation. The two truths. These two truths, Sigma did not deny the importance of conventional truth, as it allowed Nagarjuna to defend himself against the challenge of nihilism. Understanding both correctly means seeing the middle path. Without relying upon convention, the ultimate truth is not taught. Without understanding the ultimate, nirvana is not attained. So, in order to be able to see the truth of this world, we're not supposed to run away from what happened in this world right now. If we keep staying in the forest, in the cave, and say that we are in a practice in the mind of peace, and if somebody bring these persons to the Manhattan, they can't survive because they think that this is too noisy. These people are too what? Stupid. They think that these people are living in the life of dream. But they can't see themselves as that they can't basically be part of this conventional world. And that's why it's difficult for them to be liberated out. Liberation needs to have the experience in this conventional world. If we want to reach to the shore of nirvana, we need to understand the ultimate truth. In order to understand the ultimate truth, we need to completely understand the conventional truth. And how do we understand the conventional truth? We have to experience everything in this conventional world. And how do we experience all things in this conventional world? We need to be part of this conventional world. We're not supposed to run away from this conventional world. No matter how noisy is in Manhattan, will your heart follow this noisy situation or condition? Or your mind will always be in peace, even though your physical body is in this noisy Manhattan with a lot of car horning, people walking, talking, advertising with the sounds coming out. When we are living in such a situation, can we balance our mind that we receive all this noise, all this feeling, and at the same time, we are able to maintain a peace mind? And if we are able To reach to this state of mind, basically we are in the middle path. We won't be easily get disturbed by things that happens around us. And this is something that needs to be trained. The next teaching, the nature of ultimate reality. The nature of ultimate reality. We talk about the conventional truth, ultimate truth, and now we want to talk about the ultimate reality. According to Paul Williams, one of a distinguished scholar, Nagarjuna associates emptiness with the ultimate truth, but his conceptions of emptiness is not some kind of absolute, but rather it is the very absence of true existence with regards to the conventional reality of things and events in the world. The nature of ultimate reality is said to be empty, even of emptiness itself, along with the very framework of the two truths are also conventional realities and not part of the ultimate. That is often called the emptiness of emptiness and refers to the fact that even though Madhyamika speaks of emptiness as the ultimate unconditioned nature of things, this emptiness is itself empty of any real existence. Pretty difficult to understand, right? So let me give a brief introduction or brief elaboration of what does this mean. According to Paul Williams, Nagarjuna, his concept of emptiness with the ultimate truth is that this emptiness is not something like a absolute type of thing. The emptiness also changing. Emptiness is still also changing. So it is a absence of true existence with regards to the conventional reality of things and events in the world, which means that this conventional reality, because it's changing, there's no fixed entity there. And most important is that this thing exists is depend on many other conditions. And that's why it is called emptiness. The definition of self or existence means that this thing will be forever there. And it depends on itself that arises. But in this conventional world or this phenomenal world, nothing in this world exists all by itself. And nothing in this world won't change. And because of this term sunyata, emptiness, means that it does not have a fixed existence and eternity forever. And that's why it is called sunyata. So sunyata doesn't mean nothing. Sunyata means changing and changing. So that's why there's no such unchanged fixed things over there. The nature of ultimate reality is said to be empty. The nature of ultimate reality means changing. And even when we talk about sunyata, changing, it's still emptiness by itself. Because even emptiness changed too. Sunyata changed too. So these two truths, the conventional realities and the ultimate realities, basically, whether it's ultimate or conventional, they are still considered as a sunyata. Because even ultimate truth means changing, It's still changing. It won't be forever there. And that's why emptiness itself is also empty of any of the real existence, which is when we talk about real existence means that it's changing type of existence. So this philosophy in a way is telling us that our understanding of this world, our attachment of this world comes from we see that things, we thought that the things will be forever there. So when this thing or this person's no more there, we get hurt because we thought that it's real. Conventional world is real. Even some people thought that ultimate world is real. But even ultimate truth, ultimate world, ultimate reality are changing all the time. So which one is real? Changing is real, but changing is still changing. Real is still changing. So the key thing is not because of whether this thing is real or truth or not. The key thing is when we look at all this thing, will we cherish this thing when it's existing there? And when it's no more there, will we able to let go and reduce our feeling of suffering? And this is the key things in this part. So, the nature of ultimate reality. Atisha, one of a distinguished monastic as well, described that ultimate as here. There is no seeing and no seeing, no beginning and no end, just peace. It is non-conceptual and non-referential. It is inexpressible, unobservable, unchanging, and unconditioned. Its character is neither existent or non-existent, nor both existent and non-existent, nor either. Centrists should know true reality that is free from these four possibilities. There's no seeing, there's no seeing, no beginning and no end. If we attach to either of this, it will bring us suffering. Mind that define this concept of the thing to be seen, this concept. We have this concept of beginning and ending. This concept of birth and death. All these things in a middle path. They did not deny this world. They did not deny the practice. They're still living in this world, continue the practice. The only difference is that the own mind, what is this own mind, is confronting with the things around us. If we drop into either side, whether it's any of the side, you will still feel the pressure, I should say, you still feel the stress. But if you stand in the middle, you're still facing the challenge. You did not push away. You did not accept in a way that you attach to it. You just take it easily. But at the same time, seriously. Next topic, the middle way. We talked about the middle way just now. And now, before we talk about the Nagarjuna concepts of middle way, let's talk about the Buddha concepts of middle way. And this happens while the Buddha have not attained the Buddhahood yet. While he was still sitting under a tree, practicing the ascetic meditation. And on one day, he heard somebody talking on a small boat. And this somebody were the teacher and the student. The teacher was teaching the student how to play the music instrument. And this is what the teacher said. If the string is too tight, it will snap. If it is too loose, it will not play. This is a very, very important message. Very important message. A lot of people ask me about what is the difference between attachment and diligence. What is the difference between attachment and diligence? If we don't have this mind of attachment persistent, how can we achieve our career or our study? So is attachment really something bad? Actually, in this world, nothing is completely good and nothing is completely bad. If we want to achieve something, we need to work hard and we need to have this mind of determined, to be diligent, working hard towards our dream. So there's no problem with this. However, if we crave too much and attach to what we think that we want, and if we can't get it, it will bring us suffering. And if we work too hard, too diligent, it might ruin our health. So this is something which is called the string too tight. It will snap. But if another person says that, oh, in this way, the Buddha says that we need to let go. We need to let go. In this way, I don't need to work so hard. I don't need to be serious in my life because I need to be happy. No stress. And in this way, when the day that you pass away, before you pass away, you turn around and look into your entire life, you realize that you did not do anything that is beneficial to others and yourself. So that's why the string is too loose, the sound won't come out. Whether it's in our daily life or when we are cultivating or practicing in Buddhism, we have to balance how we look at things, how we live our life, how we maintain our emotional feeling, how we interact with people that is around us in a middle way. So if you can use this as something, a reminder in your life, you will be able to live a more peace and comfortable life. The middle way. Madhyamika philosopher explicitly reject the nihilist interpretation. So the Madhyamika school is not a school of nihilism. As Nagarjuna writes, through explaining true reality as it is, the seeming samvriti does not becoming disrupted. Which means that through the explaining of the true reality, all these things around us will not be disrupt. It will still be the things around us. The mouse is still called the mouse in English. But this mouse will change, and that's the true reality. But in this conventional world, this is called the mouse in English. So the middle way, Majjhima Patipada, as well as the teachings, the Dharma by the middle, are common Buddhist terms used to refer to two major aspects of the Dharma. That is the teachings of the Buddha. The first phrasing with Patipada refers to a spiritual practice that steers clear of both extreme asceticism and sensual indulgence. This spiritual path is defined as the Noble Eightfold Path that leads to awakening. The second formation refers to how the Buddha's Dharma, the Buddha's teachings, approach ontological issues of existence and personal identity by avoiding externalism or absolutism and annihilationism and nihilism. So in here is that the Buddha is trying to teach us a way whereby we don't attach to certain things, but at the same time we don't deny in anything. So we don't deny and we don't attach. We just live in this conventional world, this phenomenal world. But at the same time, we cultivate our mindset to the middle path of thinking. This is a very powerful way of thinking when we live our life. And if we are able to apply this method, you realize that you live in peace and ease, or you live more comfortable, more relaxed. But this comfortable and relaxed is not being irresponsible, lazy, snobby. No. We still live our life in a very constructive way, meaningful way, but we are not attached to the things around us. We will cherish the things, the people, the time around us. The concept of emptiness in Buddhism. The concept of emptiness. And actually, in Buddha's time, he already mentioned about this. Nothing forever except change. Even change is also changing. So that's why it's change. So nothing in this world is forever. And where can we know about these teachings? Actually, it's from this three Dharma seal. All phenomena are impermanent. No phenomenon has a self. Nirvana is the ultimate peace. So this teaching's emptiness is not from the Madhyamika school. Perhaps this term sunyata is more emphasized during that time. But this notion of sunyata already exists during the Buddha's time when he was teaching the Tridharma seal. All phenomena are impermanent. It changes. It does not have a fixed identity. And that's why the changes means impermanent. No fixed identity means non-self. Since it's non-self, since it's changing, that's why the nature is emptiness. The nature is emptiness. Nothing fixed there. So even though the Buddha at that time did not emphasize a lot about sunyata, but his teachings already talking about sunyata. And this sunyata means, into English, it means emptiness. Nagarjuna quote of emptiness. All is empty. Should not be asserted, nor should all is not empty. All is both empty and non-empty, nor all is neither empty nor non-empty. Each is maintained only in the context of conventional reality. Not very easy to understand, right? So let's look from the bottom. Everything is maintained in the context of conventional reality. For example, this mouse. In this world, humans create this thing called mouse. So it has the context of the things that combine to make this mouse in this conventional world, and that's why it's a conventional reality. Such thing called mouse with a lot of parts. A lot of parts combine together and have this so-called mouse existence. However, when we look beyond it into the ultimate reality, it is not empty, but it's also empty. It is not empty, but it's also empty. Why is empty? Because it depends on a lot of conditions to create this. But it's empty is because when we dismantle it, can you still call this thing as a mouse? It changes. So both empty and non-empty, nor all is neither empty or non-empty. We don't attach to the concept of empty. We don't attach to the concept of non-empty. We don't attach to either of this or neither of this. And we practice the middle path. At this condition now, we accept that this thing called a mouse. Perhaps 50 years later, people will create another name for this thing. And that's why this thing will have another name. And during that time, we accept the condition of this thing during that time. So if we do not attach to anything, you realize something is that you can accept all the changes that comes to you. At the same time, you will know how to react to all these changes by not letting yourself stuck in the attachment of the conventional thing. We continue. Madhyamikas say that some object is empty, They deny that this object is independent, self-sufficient, or natural existent. For Madhyamika, all entities are empty, and this implies that the emptiness of all things must itself be empty as well. So this sentence means that even we reach to the understanding of or accept the ultimate truth is that all things arises due to dependence on other things. All things arises will change. That's why it's empty. But even this concept of empty will still be changed. So this concept of emptiness of all things, even this emptiness itself, is also something that should not be attached to. So if a person says that, oh, all thing is empty, that's why we do not need to do this. We do not need to do that. We do not need to work hard. This is a very wrong type of mentality, and is a wrong understanding of the teachings from Nagarjuna. Because Nagarjuna did not say that this world, everything is empty. That's why we do not need to be serious in our lives. That's why we do not need to work so hard in our life. Nagarjuna did not say that. To say that something is empty is to say that it is dependently originated. We'll talk about this. Everything arises depends on other things. And that's why its nature is empty. It did not come up by itself. Nagarjuna described dependently originated things are having three marks of existence. They are transient, unsatisfactory, and lacking inherent existence. You won't be able to have something that combine together that is perfectly nothing, I should say is completely perfect. It's not possible. The reason is because this thing will change. No matter how good is this thing, how people say that it's perfect about this thing, but this thing will change. That's why we can't be satisfied with this thing. Just use human. No matter how handsome, how beautiful is this person, 50 years later, 70 years later, this term pretty and handsome might not apply to this person anymore at that time. So if we attach to beauty and handsome, we thought that this is real. When we realize that it's not as what we think, of course we will suffer. But if we understand that this is a combination of a lot of conditions and depends between each other, and it will never be perfect because it will change, it will decline, it will get old. And so this is something that, again, the teachings in Madhyamika is trying to let us understand beyond our understanding of this conventional world and also the ultimate reality, or this conventional reality and the ultimate reality. When we are able to see beyond, we still see the conventional thing that is in front of us. The only thing is that we see beyond that. So no matter what changes comes to us or to this thing, our emotional reaction will not be that strong because we understand the nature of this phenomenal world. And since we understand the nature of this phenomenal world, we know that this thing, old age, sickness, and death, will always be there. Since we know about this and we accept it, we will know how to face it when it really comes to us. Emptiness is neither the denial of an existing things or quality, nor merely the negations of a concept. It is a call to shift one's perceptions to reconceive the nature of reality. To shift one conception to reconceive the nature of reality. Things do exist, of course, but only as dependently arising phenomenal. That they have self-nature is not so much an illusion as it is the result of misguided or improperly trained conceptualization. So this mind, the concept in this mind, built up from our past life and also the things we receive in this life. And I said things means information we receive in this life. Unfortunately, we misunderstood that this information or things in this life are real and won't change. So that's why when it change, we feel uncomfortable. So emptiness is not so much that the means to dispel an illusion as it is the corrections of an error. It is important to emphasize that emptiness is a middle view which, by denying essence and identities, stand between the extreme of being and non-being, between negation and affirmation. And thus this is called the middle way. It did not deny the existence. It did not deny the conventional world. Only thing is that we see beyond the conventional truth. Since negation is no more real than affirmation, even the concept of emptiness, since it is only a conventional tool, must in the end be denied reality. Deny means we do not agree. Deny means that we do not attach to it. We see that even emptiness is changing. And that's why we should not attach even this concept of emptiness. In Madhyamika is trying to help us to let go of attachment. How to let go of attachment? By seeing the truths of ultimate and conventional world. And this is the key thing. This is the key thing. So again, I would like to emphasize this. Emptiness does not equal to nothing. Emptiness means depending on each other, and things change without a fixed entity. And that's why it is called emptiness. So this is something very important, because a lot of Western members, when they start to read the text, most of them actually will encounter this term called emptiness. And some people will might misunderstood that the teachings of emptiness in Buddhism is a pessimistic teaching, which is not true. By knowing the concept of emptiness, we know how to cherished what we have at this point of time. So, in this short class, I give a very basic and brief introductions about the teaching Madhyamika school. And if you have any questions, you can type it out or you can ask these questions to Google Classroom. And of course, we still have, I think, one more time or one or two more time, the Q&A session. So next class, we will start to talk about the Yogacara school. The two major schools, Buddhism school in India, the Madhyamika school and the Yogacara school. So when we learn the history of Indian Buddhism, we have to know at least the name of these two major schools, Madhyamika and Yogacara. So I will see all of you next class and we start to kick off the topic of Madhyamika school. Om Mani Padme.